Hello guys and welcome to my channel. This video was filmed a way back, to be exact, March 28th. So I'm not going to talk about anything current because when this does get released at some point in the future, this is going to be one of my backup videos. When this does get released at some point in the future, I don't want you going, this is going to be a backup video, so I'm not going to speak about anything current, because if I spoke about anything current, when you're watching this, you'll be like, what's he talking about? That was, you know, months ago or weeks ago, however long it's going to be before this gets uploaded. Right, I've got, I think it's called Pappardelle pasta from Sainsbury's. It tastes as good as it looks. If it's not Pappardelle and I have said it wrong, I will put what it is on the screen now. If I was correct, there ain't going to be nothing on the screen. I've also got, it's really hot, garlic flatbreads from Marks and Spencer's. This is bolognese, made by my mother. My mum made it for me. I'm so grateful for that because my mum's a great cook. I'm drinking cloudy lemonade today. I like it. It's a bit bitter, but yeah, it's not too bad. It's not as bad as some. Some is like really bitter. But this one's not too bad. This Tesco own brand. It's quite nice. But yeah. So basically today, because it is a backup video, I will talk about my past. I've had many jobs in my lifetime. First job I had was look at that. That is a lot thicker than tagliatelle. See how thick that is? First job I had, I was actually a paper boy. And I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I used to get on my pedal bike. I didn't have a pedal bike to start with. I saved up for a pedal bike from my paper rounds, or I think my mum got me it for Christmas. I can't really remember. You know what, this pasta is delicious. Really nice. I was worried because it's like really thick, you know, and I don't want it to be like trying to eat a lasagna sheet. But yeah, this is really nice. What I should have done though is I should have put some boiling water to get rid of the starchiness of the pasta, because it clumps together if you don't. But I've got you a nice mouthful there. Just so you know, this bolognese is made fresh. By fresh, I mean there's no crappy ingredients like a Domino pasta sauce or anything. This is made totally fresh. My mum made it from scratch, which is why it doesn't look as orange as mine normally is. But yeah, my first job was a paper round. I was young at the time. How old was I? I think I was about 14 at the time. 13, 14 at the time I had the paper round. That was before school. On the weekends, I did work as well. I worked in a butcher's, and in that butcher's, well, let me go back to the paper round. What I'll do with a paper round, I'd wake up 5 a.m, get to the shop, take my collection. I would have my route. My route would always be the same. I'd get told the numbers that I need to give papers for on each road. I'll go do the newspapers and then go straight to school from there, because obviously a paper round is an early job. So I'd get up at 5 a.m, have breakfast, have a shower, and get to the shop for 6, I think it was 6 or 6:30. I'm not 100% on that. On the weekend, I worked in a butcher. Still the same age. I worked in a butcher shop. I was cleaning up all the pans and stuff. I would clean out the freezer, clean all the blood off the walls. And when it was Christmas time, I'd have to pluck the feathers out of the turkey, because the turkey would arrive, and then I'd have to pluck out all the feathers from the turkey. Which weren't great. Yeah, I really should have put boiling water on this. But yeah, that one, that one I only worked, I finished working now because they was paying me crap, really crap. I think this is in the 90s. I think I'd get £8 every 2 weeks. So I'd work a good 4 hours, 5 hours, and get £8, which would be unheard of now. But I stayed there so long because I was young. It was a job. It was exciting. You know, I felt like a real man. And I wanted to save up for Christmas and buy some stuff for my mum. But what can you buy for £8, you know? So I ended up leaving that one. And in the summer, 6 weeks holidays, I believe I was 15 at the time. My next job actually was working on the pier, on the kiddies' rides. You know, like the little teacups that the kids sit in, and then sometimes they want you to spin them. So you'd spin their little teacups for them. I believe I was about 15 at the time when I worked there. I started there, and then they was looking for someone to work in the cafe. So I started working in the cafe instead, because the working on the kiddies rides kind of got a bit boring. Doing the same ride every day, and especially when you're a kid, it's, you know, it is very boring. Next job I had, I moved in with my father for a little while. Big mistake, because it you know, showed to me how much of a-hole he is. And my dad was manager in a factory, a juice factory. Now I thought I was going to be a driver's buddy or driver's mate, but I wasn't. I was basically just building up pallets that would go out for deliveries. The reason why I stopped that job is because I was 17 at the time, and for insurance purposes you had to be over either 18 or 21, I can't remember what it was back then. And I was too young. Next job I had, I was a trainee hairdresser. Can you believe it? I actually enjoyed that. But yeah, I really enjoyed being a trainee hairdresser. Reason why I left that one is the owner, God rest his soul, he had several shops over London, and he had cancer, and he had to pay for treatments and stuff, so unfortunately he had to close the store we was working in. The two hairdressers got transferred to another store, but obviously I was living locally to there. So I couldn't really travel. After that I worked for a sandwich shop. I can't remember what the place was called. It was actually in the city. It was a posh sandwich shop. I really had fun there. The only issue was I was getting, we can say I was being lazy. I was starting to be lazy, not wanting to wake up so early in the mornings because you had to be there first thing, so you had to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And as a teenager, yeah, me trying to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning was difficult. I think I got fired from now. I think it was an accumulative thing. It was lateness, it was not turning up, because sometimes I wouldn't turn up. But when you're young, you don't know the consequences of, you know, having to earn money. I was living with my father at the time. After that, I became homeless. I'm not really going to discuss why I became homeless, unless, you know, I might in a future video. Yeah, I became homeless. A friend of mine, who I knew, started working in a minicab office, and recommended me for a job there. So I started working in a Turkish minicab office. I was getting underpaid. I mean, the pay was absolutely crap. I was getting £30 a shift, and I was working 12 hours a day. But when you're homeless, you know, you would do that. And the minicab office I worked for also had a car wash and showroom next door. So they would let me sleep when I wasn't working. They would let me sleep in. And someone at another cab office, they was running low on staff, so they asked me to do a shift. So I done my 12-hour shift at my one. I went to the next one and done another 12-hour shift. And after that, I went back to that one and done another 12-hour shift. And then I went home and I slept. I've never slept for so long in my life. I was asleep easily between 18 to 24 hours. I was dead after that. Yeah, never again. After then, I vowed never again to do a 36-hour shift. I don't know how these people who do it can do it. Cats are so crazy. They'll always find anything to play with. You can get them the most expensive toys on the internet, and they will play with a straw, or they will play with the lid of a drink. I mean, I don't know how it ends up on the floor, but the fruit chute comes with a clear plastic lid on top. He's found that somewhere, and he's playing with it. I mean, it could have been in the bedroom, because I had my nieces and nephews over a couple of weeks back, or last week. Well, yeah, it was last week. I had my nieces and nephews over last week, last weekend. And yeah, maybe I did put a rubbish bin in the bedroom and told them to put the rubbish in there, but maybe she didn't see the lid. And now they're deciding to play with it. But yeah, I was homeless for a long while. I worked at that kebab, kebab, that cab office for a couple years. I got, I rented a room in a pub. Oh, come on. It's very, unfortunately, the pasta is very sticky. But like I said, it was my fault. I should have sorted that out. I didn't. But yeah, I was working there for a couple years. I rented a room above a pub. That was good, you know. I enjoyed living above a pub. But the boss I was working for, he would take the mick and say he can't pay me now, he'll pay me tomorrow. And then, you know, he'd have like, his wallet would be fat with money, and yet he wouldn't pay me. It got to the point where he would owe me loads of money. I then had to move out of the room I was renting above the pub. I informed the landlord I was moving out. After I moved out, because my boss and the minicub office was supposed to be paying the rent to them, they came round to me saying that I owe them £200 and something. I told them that it's my boss who's paying my rent. It's not me. He just gives me my money after the rent. And they didn't seem to understand it. They attacked me. I tried explaining it to the boss. The boss said he'd sort it, which he didn't. So I was homeless again because of that. I left the cab office because the boss of the cab office was messing me about. Yeah, I'd been homeless for a while. I used to squat in properties. I was never like some of these squatters who go in there and destroy the property. I'll never do anything wrong to the property. I always kept it nice. Started living with my sister, and my sister saved me. I feel I partly owe my sister for helping me out back then. Would I still be here now if it hadn't been for my sister? I don't know. I really don't know. But you can't sit there and think about what could have been. You know, my sister was kind enough to save me. I lived with my sister for a long, long while. Even when she moved to Colchester, I would sleep on the floor. I registered myself homeless with the council. After 2 years of being on the register, I got offered a property and I took it. I knew, if I'm honest with you, I knew 90%, I was sure, as soon as I walked through that property, I was going to take it regardless. I came to view this property and took it straight away. I signed up with an agency for a job because it's so difficult to find work. I think people, not to your face, but I think people have an issue with weight. And I went for an interview at Iceland. I feel like I nailed it. I done everything they asked for. You know, we worked great as a team. In the team bonding exercise that we done. But I feel that they felt I was fat, so they didn't want to hire me. I mean, how many fat people do you see working in Iceland? And the thing is, I worked at Iceland for work experience. I really loved that, working in Iceland for work experience. So I feel like I kind of fat shamed. I signed up for an agency. I got given a job at a DVD factory. I worked 1 day at that factory. You're not allowed your phones, you're not allowed to take anything in there. You're only allowed to have your phone back on lunch break. The funny thing is, because obviously they're worried about you copying anything, you're not allowed your keys neither, because they're worried about you copying any movies. What made me laugh is we're talking roughly about 10 years ago, and every DVD was an old DVD. So if no one will copy that DVD, for what, you know? But yeah, you weren't allowed none of your stuff in there. I worked 1 day in there, and then at the end of the shift, they asked you if you can come in the next day. I said yes, I can come in the next day. Didn't get a phone call to come the next day. I didn't receive a phone call from them. I was waiting for a few days. I didn't receive a call from them, so I went back to the job centre. And 2 weeks later, they contacted me. Oh, hello, can you come in tonight? And I said, listen, I said, I want to work. I don't want 1 day here, 1 day there. I said, if you can promise me 5 days a week, I said, I'll work, no problems whatsoever. I said, but if you can't, I'm sorry, I can't come in. I'm not going to do one day every 2 weeks. She was like, I can't promise you that. I said, okay, then don't worry about it, forget it. You know, I really wanted to work, but I can't just work 1 day every 2 weeks. Because I didn't earn nothing now. When you're on benefits, they deduct it pound for pound. So what I earned there was nothing. I think I got to keep a £5 of it. So I did a 10-hour shift or a 12-hour shift, I can't remember how long it was, for a £5. Takes me back to the days when I was working in the butcher. Yeah, after that I was recommended or referred from the job centre to another company who help people with CVs and get into work and stuff like that. And I was asked to sit on the sofa. So I was sitting on the sofa, waiting to be seen. And I got called over. I overheard a guy offering a job to someone on the phone. He was speaking to them on the phone and he offered them a job. And I overheard him speaking to them about it. That you didn't need any experience, full training is provided, blah, 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 blah. Stuff like that. Anyway, I had my appointment with the guy. The guy went through what sort of stuff I do, what sort of, stuff like that. The basic stuff. He said, okay, we'll see you next week, or we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I was like, excuse me? I said, what about the job that he was offering someone? And he's like, oh, would you like to go for it? Yeah, obviously, I'm here to work. She said, okay, then I'll get you the number. He gave me the number, and I sat down and I spoke to them on the phone. They said, yeah, come down tomorrow. It was an agency, but they said, yeah, come down tomorrow. And I was like, okay then, cool. So I went down, and I thought it was an interview. I didn't know it was an actual job. So I'd gone down there for an interview. It's like, oh, I really, really, really want a job. I hope I get it. As soon as I got in there, sat down, they was talking about us, about, stuff to wear and high vis, and some areas have high vis. Everyone needs to wear steel toe cap boots for safety protection. And they was like, okay, you can start Monday. I was like, what? So I got a job. And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay then. I was so excited. This is Bosch, actually. Yeah, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I've got a job. I can't believe it. I'm back in work. And made sure I got there on time for my shift. Got there first day. The machine had broken down. And look at that meat on that. Oh, there you go. Look at that. God, this Marks and Spencer's bread. So good. Yes, I went there the first day. The first day I went there, I think I was there for about 2 hours. I can't remember if it was the electric motors that broke down, or it was they ran out of parts. I think they ran out of parts. That used to happen a lot. So they couldn't make any motors, so they sent us home. I was like, okay, fair enough, you know. Went home, came back, like said to come back tomorrow. I was okay. Went back the next day. I think 4 or 5 hours after starting, down to a standstill again. This one was either E&D or run out of parts. One of them was one day, one of them was the other day. And I was sitting there like, oh God. And then my team leader came over to me and said, I'm not sending you home. I said, you know, they've asked for me to ask you lot to go home. I said, I'm not sending you home. I said, if they want to send you home, they have to come down here and send you home themselves. He said, I'm not being the mean one to do it. So we was there for another couple hours until someone eventually came down. He was like, oh, I'm so sorry. We're going to have to send you home. We can pay you, you know, up until lunch or whatever it was. Or it might have even been the full day. We'll give you the full day's wages. But unfortunately, we have to send you home. And at this point, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, God's sake, not the same again. Not the same as the other agency again. I was contemplating not going back because I can't just go in there for a couple of hours and get sent home. I can't afford it. I really couldn't. And then I was sitting there on the way home thinking, if this happens again, I'm not coming back. Forget that. After that, no issues. Worked all the way through. Had a great time. Had a laugh. With a bunch of great guys. I used to work in the logistics department of Bosch. So we would sort out what they need to make the machines and give them the parts. We would give them, say, an hour's worth of parts, and then, or 30 minutes of parts, sorry, every half an hour we'd send another load up, and they'll send the old one back, and then we have half an hour to fill that up, and then send it back. But we'll have less than that because there was 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 or 5 different lawnmowers being made at each time. So we had to get the different parts for each one. But there was loads of us. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably about 6 of us attacking one trolley. And we would fill it quick. So we would have about a minute between each trolley just to chill and relax. And I stayed there, but I got let go. Reason why I got let go, it wasn't just me, it was everybody who was agency got let go. It's because obviously when you're making lawnmowers, you're not busy all throughout the year. And the other reason why is because they was going to make redundancies, and they can't get rid of any permanent staff while there's agency still working. They have to get rid of the agency before they can get rid of any full-time staff. So yeah, they did that. The first month was the first month working there was really, really bad because I got I had to purchase my steel toe cap boots and I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to get proper ones, so I went to Shoe Zone got a pair of steel toe cap boots from Shoe Zone. They was the most uncomfortable steel toe cap shoes I've ever had in my life, or any shoes I've had in my life. They was awful. I was in agony. Every break I would sit down in the corner and take my shoes off and be like, because I was in so much pain. They was the worst shoes I'd ever had on my feet. I couldn't believe how bad they was. I went on eBay after I got paid. I went on eBay and saw a pair of trainer steel toe cap boots, or steel toe cap trainers, and I was like, well, you know, the boots are really bad, surely the trainers might be alright. I put them on and it was heaven. It was amazing putting them shoes. I can't believe, I really cannot believe Shoe Zone was allowed to sell those other ones. I mean, do they not ask people to try them out? You know, it's... I'd never felt anything like it. Yeah, that was awful. But yeah, I got a phone call after the quiet period, so after Christmas. I got a phone call in February. I got asked to come back, and I'd not left there since. Even though I was agency and they let you go when it gets quiet, me and about 2 other people had been kept on, and I'd been, and they hire what, well over 100 people. So for me to be kept on the whole time, you know, and yeah, my boss was brilliant. He started off as supervisor when I was there, and then his boss, my boss, who was in charge of us, moved to another department, and then he got promoted, and he was a fantastic boss. He was, you can have a laugh, but do your job properly, don't mess about. And you know, he was sweet with you, and that's what I respected so much about him. The fact that you can still muck about and have a laugh with him, even though he was your boss, and he could have a laugh with you because he knew you respected him that much, you would do your job properly. You know, I would do night shift, and I would do overtime, so I'd work on a Saturday and a Sunday, where obviously they weren't making the lawnmowers on the Saturday or Sunday. Night time they were just making the engines in the electronics department, EMD, electric motors. And I'd need someone from logistics, so I would stay and do the overtime. But it was wicked, man. You know, it was so easy, so easy. You know, all I would have to do, because the trolleys that we give to electric motors, it will take them, God, a good couple hours. Each trolley lasts about 2 hours. So I'd need to fill one trolley every 2 hours. And that'd be super easy. Oh man, that was amazing. I had so much fun. And, you know, I was getting paid nice. Because to start off with, I was on, was it $9.98? Well, to start off with, when I first started working there, I was on £6, was it £6.30 or £6.50? One of the two. It was minimum wage. And then after 12 weeks, you get put onto the wage that the full-timers earn, or they get rid of you. So I was put onto the same wage as the full-timers, which was £9.98 or £9. I can't. It was £9 something. And then when I used to go on to night shift, because because you work after midnight, you get what is called antisocial. Is it antisociable hours pay? So you'd get 20%. So I get 20% on top of that £9.90 or whatever. I'll end up getting £11. I swear it was £11.40 an hour for a 12-hour shift. But then on the weekends, it's time and a half. So for me to do not much on the weekends, it would be £17.98, was it? Something an hour. I think it was £11.40 after unsociable hours pay, because you get 20% extra for unsociable hours. And then on the weekend, it's classed as overtime, so it's time and a half. So if it's on night time, I was getting, you know, the tax man loved me. I didn't love him. When I would get my paycheck, I would cry. You know, I was paying, at one point, I think I paid 100 and, how much tax was it? 140, was it 140 tax? I don't know, it hurt. It hurts. I mean, you get your pay, and then you'll get what you actually get. And yeah, it hurt. I think my take-home pay was like £514, but before that I think it was like 700 and something. But with national insurance and tax taken out of it, bye bye money. Tax man's like, hello me. So, but yeah, it didn't bother me too much. Because I mean, on a normal, if I was working on a day shift, and I wasn't working on a night, so I didn't get that 20%. If I was only working on a day shift, I think my take-home pay was 300. I think it was like £356 or something along those lines. But obviously, doing night shift, you get the 20% plus you get the overtime on the weekends as well. You know, it was amazing. Jesus, you know what? I'm so sorry, guys. I've been rambling. I think it's going to be so hard for me to get future videos. There you go. There's mince, tomatoes, onion. It's actually really nice. My mum actually said to use bouquet garni in this. But yeah, it's really, really nice. I've got to let her know. I'll message her and tell her that, yeah, I think with the bouquet garni, it still tastes nice. I'm still eating this, but I think I've got to finish it. The video here. Reason being is because I rambled on for like 55 minutes, and that wasn't my intention. So I do apologise. I've got to try and sort something out for future videos where I'm making them in advance. Because yeah, I don't like them this long. I don't like videos this long. You know, you can almost watch a movie in that time. Why would you want to watch someone eat for that long? So thank you very much for watching. Oh. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. I do apologise for speaking for so long. If you guys are still here at the end, I want you to put in the comments, I am legend, for me. I just want to see how many people have watched it this far. I'm hoping I can cut it down a little bit. So it's not almost an hour, 55 minutes long as of now. So I'm hoping I can cut down, hoping 15 minutes somewhere if I can. But thank you very much for watching. I love you guys so much, man. You guys have helped me more than you know. You really, really have. And I'll see you on the next video. It's nice.